He was the president of the international division of AIG. So, we did a lot of business travel. He did a lot, he was in insurance, so obviously numbers and, strategizing and marketing and all of that stuff was really important, which is ironic because one of the first signs, years later that we picked up on that maybe something was wrong cognitively was he was making really bad financial decisions, really bad business decisions. But he would, give money to anyone who solicited him, so, WTBW, any kind of nonprofit that asked for money. So he was probably giving money to every single disease out there, every single, political party and whatnot, which, again, caused him to lose probably a great deal of money. I was actually living in the city at that point, so I think it was shortly thereafter I moved up to Evanston to be closer to him. Daily visits turned into twice-a-day visits, turned into 3 times a day visits, turned into having a caregiver in the mornings and then me coming over in the afternoon and in the evenings. And that lasted for about 1.5 years, and then it was just too much work, and he wasn't safe to be living at home by himself anymore. So one of the hardest things I had ever done up to that point was move him out of his apartment, and it was very difficult. But again, I was very active, and I was there, many times a week, and was able to help him in a lot of other ways. On New Year's Day of 2010, I went to visit him, and he was non-responsive in bed, and they called the nurse, and they couldn't wake him up, so we called 911, and they took him to the ER. They thought that maybe he had had a series of small strokes. So we spent 6 days in the hospital, and on the 6th day, the doctor said we should call hospice. So the hospice team came in, Midwest Hospice, and I met with them for a number of hours. And, the hospice diagnosis is, expected to live less than 6 months. He went on to be on hospice for more than 2.5 years. About 2 weeks before, Julie, the hospice nurse, was saying, we're noticing some changes. We're noticing some change in vitals. He's starting to slow down. He's eating less and less. I think we're looking at a possible end here. So I started, talking to people at work about, can I take a leave of absence? How does this work out? And so I spent about, it was 6 days from when they, said he was actively transitioning. And I would spend anywhere from, 6 hours to 12 hours, literally next to him, just sort of, holding his arm and whatnot. And he just, you could tell he was ready to go. He just became back to that really peaceful state. And there was no way, way to know when he was going to go. And they said, maybe you need to leave, and we said our goodbyes, and it was the hardest thing ever. 12:45, they called, and they said, they called, and I said hello, and they said, yeah. I said, okay, we're on our way. It was about, we had been gone a half hour, basically. I have an incredible support network, friends and colleagues and peers and whatnot. And I feel that I'm, sort of living his legacy in a way, taking our experiences and growing from it and helping other people in a way. And if, I can't be with him in person anymore, this is what I have to do. I have to go out and help people from our story, and it's meaningful.